Hello and welcome to the best economics class. Today we are going to learn about price elasticity of demand. Actually, the lesson today is particularly about three methods we can use to measure price elasticity of demand. First, it is good to know what is price elasticity of demand. Why are we using that? In a market, when the price of a particular good changes, quantity that the buyers demand will also change. In simple terms, when price changes, quantity demand changes. So elasticity is used to measure this change. Right? Now you better understand that. Okay? So this is price elasticity of demand. It measures the seriousness of the change in quantity demand in relation to a change in the price of the good. That is what we mean by elasticity. Now, what we do today is to talk about three possible methods available to measure elasticity, right? This price elasticity. One method, let me write it here. One method is measuring PED at one particular point on the demand curve. Right. And another way is measuring PED between 2 points on the demand curve. And thirdly, we can measure PED between two distant points on the demand curve. And there are names. For example, we call first one point elasticity. This is point elasticity. That's what we simply call it, point elasticity. And this last one, we call it arc elasticity. Not only names, there are different equations. I would like to give you the equation to calculate point elasticity, B into P over QD. That is the equation, B into P over QD, price over quantity demand. Now, how do you calculate elasticity between 2 points? Second one, delta. Delta is change. Delta QD over QD divided by delta P over P. Or you can adjust that equation according to the way you want it. And arc elasticity is slightly different from the second one, where it is delta QD over Q1 plus Q2. We add them together and divide by 2 divided by delta P over P1 plus P2 divided by 2. Right. So it is important that you remember these three methods and the equations we are using when we use each of these different methods. Right. So what we do now is to use a practical example. We'll use a diagram, and in this diagram, using this diagram, we'll see how we can calculate elasticity from all these three methods. Right. For this, we are going to use an equation. So this equation, let us use an equation like this. say QD equals 100 minus 5B. What you should know is this 100 is understood as A, that is the intercept, and this 5 is understood as B. And if you draw a diagram, a quick diagram, you will get a diagram like this. Without scaling, we can draw it quickly, right? And that is the price axis, this is the quantity axis, and the demand curve will go like this, right? This is price, this is quantity, this is 0. So here, if you divide A from B, 100 from 5, that will be 20. We understand this as maximum price. Below this, there will be any price that will take place in the market, like 15 or 10 or 5. Shall we take three prices? Let us take first 15 rupees, and we also can take 10 rupees, and we also can take 5 rupees. Okay, these are the three prices we selected now: 15, 10, and 5. For each of these prices, you can also calculate or measure the relevant quantities by substituting that price to the equation. For example, when the price is 15, you substitute that price to the P in that equation. 15 into 5, 75. So 100 minus 75 will be 25. When the price is 10, 5 into 10, 50. 100 minus 50 will be 50. And when the price is 5, 5 into 5, 25. 100 minus 25 will be 75. Now what we do is, we'll take this point as point A, this point as point B, and this point as point C. Now when you write the exam, you'll have to be careful. It's not just calculating PED, price elasticity of demand. You'll have to check what exact elasticity they want. For example, look at this question. Look at this question. They will give you a question like this. Let us say, first one, calculate elasticity, calculate PED at the point A. Calculate PED at the point A. So what you have to do, you have to use point elasticity. So here we have to use point elasticity, right? So can you remember that equation I have given you? Point elasticity is calculated by this equation, B into P over QD, P into P over QD. So let us substitute that equation, right? So B, you can look at the equation on your right hand side. B is minus 5 into point A. Look at the point A, the diagram. What is the price? Well, that is 15 divided by, what is the quantity? Quantity is 25. So here it is 5 into 15 minus 75, divided by 25. So what is the answer? Answer is minus 3. Well, that is the elasticity at just that point. However, you sometimes get a question like this. Look at this question. Calculate PED between point A and point B, or from A to B. They will give it like this, from A to B. Now in that case, what you do, you are going to use another equation, right? Now what is that equation? Here you are going to use this equation, delta QD divided by QD divided by delta P over P. right? Now you can substitute. Now look at the diagram where you can put an arrow from A to B they wanted, right? A to B, you can see from 25 to 50. That is the change in the quantity, and delta, right? 15 to 10, that is the change in price. So shall we substitute? So change in the quantity is 25 to 50, 25 from 25 divided by change in the price 15 to 10, that is minus 5 from 15. Okay, so 25 goes for 25, 5 into 1, 5 into 3. So how do we get the answer? 1 into minus 3 over 1. And the answer is minus 3. Well, that is a coincidence. The answers will not always be the same, but in this case, it became the same answer. Point A also, at that one point, elasticity was minus 3. That's the coefficient. You can also use that word coefficient to refer to elasticity. And then from A to B, but now you can get a question like this. That's the last thing we analyzed today, right? Look at this. Calculate the PED from the point A to C. Calculate the PED from the point A to C. Now here we have to use arc elasticity, right? Here we use arc elasticity. Use arc elasticity equation. Can you remember that equation I gave you a while ago? Yeah. So it's like the second equation, slightly different. Can you remember? That is delta Q D. Delta QD, we divide it from Q1 plus Q2 added and divided by 2 divided by delta P over P1 plus P2 divided by 2. So can we substitute the values? So now what we do is we'll take A to C, we use an arrow, A to C. A to C, can you see 25 to 75? That is the change in quantity. Price 15 to 5. So shall we substitute? So change in quantities 50 is 25 to 75, 50. First quantity 25, second quantity 75, but you have to divide by 2. Divided by change in the price 15 to 5, that is minus 10. First price is 15, second price is 5. You'll have to divide by 2. So let us finalize. 50 over 25, 75, 100 divided by 2 will be 50. Divided by minus 10 over 15 plus 5, 20 divided by 2 will be 10. There we go. 50 goes for 50, 10 goes for 10. That is 1 into minus 1. What is the answer? Minus 1. That's the answer. So I would like to remind you again, in the exam, it is not just calculating PED, it is which PED they want. Do they want PED between two distant points? Can you see from A to C? C is not the next immediate point of A. C is a distant point from A. So that is a distant point, arc elasticity. Or do they just want elasticity at one particular point? Then use point elasticity. Between two immediate points, a point line next to the previous point, there we use normal price elasticity. So thanks for participating, and we'll meet again with another small lesson like this.